I'm meeting Barbara Operschall from SpeechCode. Barbara, you gave a presentation yesterday that was very appreciated. SpeechCode, what is that? Can you tell me a little bit?
Yes, SpeechCode actually is a data code that can be printed, and it contains up to 40 minutes of speech information. And the purpose of it is to make printed information also audible, so that people who have problems with their eyesight, blind people, but also people who, with the demographics we have in Europe, are getting older and older and find it more and more difficult to read. But it's also in use for purposes where listening to information is much more convenient, like in tourism when you're sightseeing, or when you need your hands free to cook or to assemble a piece of furniture. So there are really lots of possibilities to use this data code.
And this is your own technique?
Yes, we developed that from scratch with our team in Austria. And we have also added NFC functionalities to it, so that our customers can choose whether they want the printed version to be scanned optically or with an NFC tag.
And how does this really work? I mean, you create the code. Who creates the talking, so to say?
Okay, the code is created online or through an automated SDK interface by the customer themselves, and the users download a free app with the voice of their language, and then they scan the code and get the speech output through a text-to-speech engine.
Oh, I see. So you don't need to download the information by yourself. You have this generator instead.
Yeah, right. That's a very important thing, that the whole process of getting the data from the code to the smartphone is working fully offline, so you can really use it everywhere, even on the moon where you wouldn't have any network.
And how long can this information be? I mean, is it 10 minutes, 5 minutes? Does it matter?
It depends very much then on the size of the code, but the maximum would be 40 minutes. But quite frankly, who wants to listen for 40 minutes to any information nowadays? And
but if you are blind, for example, how should you know that there is a code to scan?
Well, you first have to know that on a package or on a document there is a code. Once you know that, we have what we call scan guidance, which gives either verbal or tonal instructions to a blind user as how to hold his smartphone, and then the scan is done automatically.
And as far as I know, if I remember it right, so far it's only used for tourist information. You don't have it on any package. You don't cooperate with any brand owner yet.
No, not yet. We were actually surprised by the early interest from this industry, and now we are at the stage of finding partners who will do a proper pilot with us for that particular usage on packages.
Can you see any problems for the brand owner? Is there anything that is talking against this technique?
Not as far as I know, because it's very cheap, because the per unit costs are basically none as it's printed. The app is working, we know that from the tourism industry, so there are no regulatory issues, there are no post-consumer issues with it. So it just needs a brand owner who goes for it and who is willing to also communicate to the consumers what it is actually offering when they scan such code.
And you have been talking to brand owners, I'm sure about that, and they have a great interest for this.
Yes, we started talking to them, and there is interest there, and we did some mock-ups, but obviously this is an industry where we talk about huge numbers of units and very complicated production processes, so it's not like in tourism that somebody decides to do it today and tomorrow it's out there.
Okay. Can you also give us an example how the technique works?
Yes, sure. I will show you how it works on a little tourism sign to make it easy for everybody to understand how it works.
Right.
That's okay.
Turn left.
What you hear is what I mentioned before, the scan guidance, so that it tells me how I need to actually hold the camera if I do an optical scan. But what you also can do, in this case we have NFC, because NFC obviously it's faster and also easier for somebody who is really blind, because they just have to place it on the smartphone and then
SpeechCode.
you already
Information for all.
have the information.
Chapter overview.
And you can navigate
Barrier-free information access. Chapter
to various
1.
chapters. You can enlarge
Barrier-free
the print.
information at Chapter 1.
You can pause
Barrier-free information
it-
access.
go back to the
SpeechCode. Information for all. Chapter overview.
chapter overview.
1.
You can
Barrier-free
include
information
also
access.
links and telephone
2.
links.
Fields of
Turn it
application.
off now. You can also include links to websites if you like to, or to phone numbers, which then work like single tap, that you just have to tap somewhere on the display and you immediately get connected to that particular phone number, which is also for the purpose of making it possible to use for blind and visually impaired people.
Okay, Barbara, thank you very much. Now the program is started, so I think we have to end this interview here. Thank you, and good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.